This is a Stanley Workmate, with the smaller one, the 225, which clamps the head of the rower in nicely. So the first thing you need to do is to remove the cover. So right here there's a cutout, and all you have to do is push down on this, and the cover, you can go right back and slide it out, just like this, and out it comes. And these two cutouts here, these cutouts right here, that's where these two leg bolts go. So you simply need to jump under them. The cover removed, we now have access to the chain and the bungees. So the bungees are here, the chain is right here. All of this is now fully accessible. So the first thing you want to do to prepare is you need to remove the front cover here. So to do that, we're going to use either a 4mm hex head, or I think it's 5/32 is the SAE equivalent. Both will fit, both will work. So the front cover is held on by this J channel hook right here. Usually, you don't even really have to hold it. Usually you can sort of turn it, and you can see the bolt just pressure before the nut starts to turn. Then once the nut starts to turn, you can put your finger against it, hold it to remove the nut on the end. There's no need to remove it from the end of the cap. And you want to make sure your orientation remains in this way. So remember that the short side, this side, is the one, when you put it back on, it goes to the bottom or the leg side. Now this part of it is important. You'll see the way in which the car that holds the bungee is oriented. And the bungee comes off and goes to the pulley, which is in the upper part of the frame, off the top, and to the lower part across the bottom. Now you have complete access to the car and the bungee itself. So now with the tension off, you can manage the bungee fairly easily. This is also where you would tighten it. It's my experience that if you're going to go this far, just replace it. You know, for $550 in the cost of a bungee cord from Concept2, you're crazy to not just replace the thing. What happens, and I'll show you when I get it apart, they get flat. So the way this is set up, there's a slot, two holes, and one of them has a slot. So you need to first release it from this slot by sliding it side, pull it bungee out, and then you can just withdraw the end. Now with the bungee end free, it's really easy to come back around to the front where you opened it up and then just pull the bungee right out this way. And you can withdraw it and it'll come right out. Pull the other side off, same way. Just push it to the side, get it loose, and then loosen. I can't really do this one hand. Free. The bungee's out. And they actually, when you install the new one, you want to make sure that the center of the bungee is right here, so that the ends are even. 1 to 10 of conditions of bungees, this one's pretty good. And you know, except for the fact that it's old, it's not as flat-sided as I would have expected for its age. And so, you know, this probably has a little more time in it, but it's also likely given up its elasticity, so you're getting cheated off on the drag factor. The new bungees are blue. It's been my experience that these are actually a little better quality than the black bungees and seem to last longer. These things will fray and spit a lot of fuzz, which is usually seen inside the rower. So the one that I took out of there, the one that's on the floor there, that's actually pretty good. So we're going to stick this one in and put her back together. And again, pay attention to keep the ends even to the car when you measure them up before you put them through the final slot up there. So, but, you know, I usually measure them off this way before I go and finish it here to make sure I've got the length right. With the new bungee threaded through the travel car, we simply reroute it back through the rollers. When you buy a bungee from Concept2, they'll give you instructions. You know, with they're really strong on customer support. So this is definitely something anybody can do. And you just have to be patient, go about it. Like everything, it takes 3 times as long to do it the first time as it does the next time. This process reminds me of my Boy Scout days, tying a bowline, and the groundhog comes out of the hole, goes around the tree, And remember, this one will go over, and the other side will come under. So we feed the bungee on the bottom, bring it up, bring it to the end, and then around this car and back through on the pulley. I'm out of hands. Traveling up the bottom, it goes under everything, and coming back, it goes over everything. So just keep your orientation and your alignment correct. And there you go. Now, from here, we can just put the clip end back on. Start from this side, and you're going after the slot end first. So you'll clamp it in the slot end here, right in there, and then the free end will come around through the hole to secure it. So push it through, just like this, through the slot end, push it through, and then grabbing it, pinch it into the slot, and then the free end goes around, back down through this hole, and you pull it, and that's it. That's all there is to installing it. Once you're done, you just clip it back together. Front chain roller, make sure that you're under the front chain roller on the bottom and over it on the top, because obviously if you go in the wrong direction there, it's going to rub, create friction, and ultimately it's just going to make the bungee fail, and it'll be uncomfortable to row because it'll add a ton of resistance. One side installed, we're going to install the other side. Now remember, the top of the car goes off that side, so down here is the bottom of the car, which means it goes under this roller, which is different than the other side. This one up the top of the channel, and this one will go underneath this time. This is the front cover. Here's the flywheel cage. So one comes up and over, the other comes over and under. Have the new bungee installed. The ends should land together. So it's really important that they're centered in the car back here, that they're centered in that car, and that the lengths are the same. So obviously if one's tight and the other's loose, that's going to make things not work well. To reattach, remember that the angle bracket, it has to have the flat side, this outside piece here, has to be against the wall. So in this case, the hook will go under the rear axle here. So we'll just go in, hook it, that's it. Done there. Grab this one goes, this will hook over because again the angle is it wants to go to the outside wall. Go back in, hook it over the axle. Done. That's it. There's your new bungee. Do is replace this nose cover, and I leave that J hook on there because it's virtually impossible unless you've got spiny little witch fingers to reach in to get a hold of that nut to thread it on once it's inside the rower. Okay, so now with the J-hook set up, we're going to reinstall the nose cover right here, and then we come back around, and now you start your dexterity test. Okay, so this is the point now, this J-hook, which gives a lot of people trouble. This is where I use the pliers, and I grab it. I need two hands. But you're going to get the idea that we're going to grab it and pull it up and over the axle, but it takes two hands. So now with it hooked over the axle, you just want to put your finger against that nut and begin to tighten it, and you'll tighten it right back up. Okay, and that's it. Now it's nice and snug. Take the wrench out, put the black cover back on, and you're done. So take the black plastic dust cover, slide it in the end of the rower in the slot, bring it up, and then be careful to make sure that these two ears are on the top. Goes up. The end is going to bump into the end of these bolts. So as you push it up, just put your finger under to dip under, and then you can slide it the rest of the way up. It just slides right up. And then you remember those two cutouts on this back leg. That's it.